I think my evil ex is haunting me. When I found out my ex-boyfriend who broke 2 of my ribs and put me in a coma for a week was dying of cancer, I thought my prayers had been answered. He texted me, "You know you'll never actually get away from me," and I rolled my eyes and sent him a gif of the Grim Reaper. He died 2 days later, and my girlfriends threw me a no more restraining order party. But then things got weird. First, it was just his cologne in my apartment, that specific Dior Sauvage he always wore that now made me want to puke. I figured maybe it was coming through the vents or my brain was being dramatic because trauma does weird things to you. Then I started finding stuff moved around in ways that were so specifically him, it made my skin crawl. Coffee mug handle facing left, because God forbid a right-handed person touch his special mug. My shoes lined up like soldiers by the door because apparently chaos would reign if they were even slightly crooked. The thermostat at exactly 68 degrees, which meant I was freezing my butt off under 3 blankets just like old times. I changed my locks even though he'd never had a key because breaking in was more his style anyway. I got a security camera that showed absolutely nothing, except me looking increasingly paranoid checking it every 5 minutes. My therapist said it was normal to feel weird after your abuser dies because your whole fight or flight system doesn't know what to do with itself anymore, which sounded logical until I woke up with his fingerprints on my wrist. Not fingerprints literally, but bruises in the exact pattern of how he used to grab me when he was pissed about something like me breathing too loud. Purple and green like they were days old even though my wrists were clear when I went to bed. I'd worn long sleeves to sleep and they weren't even pulled up or twisted or anything. I showed my friend Claire and she did that thing where she tried to look supportive while obviously thinking I'd lost it. Then his music started playing at 3 a.m. from absolutely nowhere. Not just any music, but the specific playlist he'd force me to listen to on those fun 4-hour drives where he'd scream about every single thing I'd ever done wrong, including that time I sneezed during his favorite song. I checked every device, asked the neighbors, even had the super come check the vents, but we found nothing. I could hear every word clear as day coming from inside my walls like the building itself had memorized his Spotify. I went to his funeral because I needed to see him in that box with my own eyes, and sat in the back while his mom sobbed and his friends talked about what a legend he was, nobody mentioning the 3 arrests or the 2 other girls with matching restraining orders. I asked the funeral director probably one too many questions about whether that was definitely him in the casket, and was he absolutely sure the body was dead because you hear about these things, and he looked at me like I was insane, which, fair. But things kept escalating and I started writing everything down so I'd have proof I wasn't making this up. I opened my laptop to find a document I didn't create with "You'll never get away from me," copied and pasted like 1,000 times. My car started itself in the closed garage at 2 a.m. and nearly killed me with carbon monoxide before the alarm went off. I came home from work to find my bathtub had overflowed with scalding water, and my landlord was ready to evict me. Ghosts aren't real, so there had to be an explanation. Maybe his psycho brother was somehow involved, but he lived in Denver and had alibis. Maybe one of his friends was carrying out some twisted revenge plot, but the cameras showed nothing and nobody had keys. Maybe he wasn't actually dead and had pulled some elaborate fake death scheme, but that's insane. Even though I only saw his body from far away, and funeral makeup can cover a lot, and would anyone really check that closely? The worst possibility was that I was doing it to myself, having some kind of breakdown where I was recreating the abuse because my brain was broken from all the trauma. My therapist gently suggested inpatient psychiatric care after I showed her my journal of incidents, but that same night, invisible hands choked me awake and left scratches on my neck that couldn't be from my own fingers because I bite my nails to nothing, and these were deep, long marks from actual nails. I ran to a motel 200 miles away because I couldn't stay in that apartment another second, but woke up to find "Found you" written in the bathroom mirror steam, even though I hadn't showered, and that mirror was bone dry when I went to sleep. Maybe he was haunting me, or maybe someone was helping him posthumously, or maybe he faked his death, or maybe I was having a complete psychological meltdown, but either way, he was right about one thing. I was never getting away from him. I had to find out what was happening. Full story on the channel below.